Hi, Mr. Kibler. It's Oyinka, obviously. I wanted to make this video for you to just thank you for all that you've done for me since junior year to now. I just want to start off by thanking you for the materialistic things. Thank you for writing my letters of recommendation. Thank you for being very patient with me since I was in your physics class to now in IED. Thank you for giving me extra credit. Thank you for, speaking of which, I need to turn in my toy train PowerPoint when I get home. I'll make a reminder for myself to do that. It's just like sitting on my Google Slides. I have to turn it in. Toy train, sorry. Speaking of, did you see those pictures that I took on your phone? I think it was yesterday. I don't think you saw it. You would have said something. I don't think you saw it yet. We'll see it probably by the time I send you this video. But thank you for everything, Mr. Kibler. Like, thank you for teaching me about physics and about engineering. You know, I initially, sorry, I initially took IED because I was confused about like what career path I wanted to pursue, because I was just very uncertain about what I wanted to do with my life, and everyone was like, you need to hurry up and figure out, you know, we're running out of time and you should have already known this. But I didn't know. I was very confused and very lost, and I did have, okay, so I am a very sorry, Mr. Kibler, my sister just texted me asking about my college meeting date, because you know that's around the corner, college. What was I saying? That I am very creative and I am very, okay, in the beginning of the year when I was like career searching, I wanted to be a part of a field where I could be innovative and creative at the same time, but I also wanted to be with children. Like, I would not do a career that did not involve children, because I love children very much. I think I have a list on my phone of the careers that I was interested in. No, I don't have it. Let me see. Children. No, I don't have it. But I wanted to be with children, and I wanted to be creative and innovative and collaborating with others to change the world. So that's kind of like engineering in a nutshell, really. So I was like, okay, let me do engineering. And at first, I believe I had principles of health science, and I'm glad I got out of that class, honestly. Like, no offense to Dr. Nickel, but I've heard bad things about that class. So I'm glad I got into your class, because, you know, I knew you and you knew me from last year, and I love working on computers because I'm very tech savvy. So, you know, but in the class, like throughout the year, I realized that engineering was not for me. And it's not because of the workload, like it's not because of the assignments you gave us, but you know, I was expecting for a light to go off and for me to be like, oh my gosh, I love this, but I don't hate it, but I realized that it's not for me. And I'm glad that I did realize that through your class, because initially I was putting on all my college applications that I was going to major in mechanical engineering and go to their engineering schools. But I'm glad that I figured that out sooner rather than later, rather than before I spent all my money on, you know, engineering classes and wasting my time. So I'm glad that I figured that out very, very soon. And, you know, engineering, I do have an appreciation for engineering and for engineers in general, because I know that it is hard. Like, it's not easy. Like, I didn't think it was like easy, or like you could do it in your sleep easy. I knew there was challenge involved, but it's actually pretty rigorous. And it's not that I'm not willing to work hard. I will work hard for what I want and for what I believe in, but engineering is just not for me. I'm just glad that I realized that through your class. And I hope that's not offensive. Like, I'm not trying to offend you, but just by doing the work and by being in an engineering class. Like, I also come to Coach Heller's POE class in 5th period, and just seeing all the engineering stuff. Like, their class is more hands-on, our class is more, activities online and inventor stuff, but their class is more hands-on, and just seeing the things that they do, like, I just feel like I couldn't do that. Not that I'm not capable of doing it, but I wouldn't be passionate about doing that. And I see some people like on fire, like passionate about that, and I know that I don't have that same passion. So that's kind of how I figured out that engineering wasn't really for me. Even civil engineering, I considered doing civil engineering too, but it just wasn't for me. And that's not because I'm not good at math or physics. Like, I can do what it takes. I mean, I've got what it takes to study hard and to understand the material. It's not because of the course requirements. It's mostly because of passion, and I feel like if there's a lack of passion in my pursuits, my future career, then I'll just end up being unhappy. So I couldn't do that to myself. So I'm just glad that I figured out that engineering was not for me through your class. Because if I didn't take your class, I probably would have still had mechanical engineering as my major, and I would have went to college and signed up for all these classes, and I've hated it, and then changed my major halfway through, and then going through a crisis of how am I going to graduate, what to pursue next, So I'm glad that I was able to figure that out. But thank you for the advice, the college advice. Thank you for reading over my my essays. Thank you for giving me advice about scholarships, because honestly, nobody warned me about all of this stuff, like SAT, ACT, college essays, letters of recommendation, scholarships, advice for college, advice for senior year. Like, nobody gave it to me. Like, the last year's counselors didn't even tell us about majority of the stuff that we needed to do for senior year. And I know that it's kind of on the students' part to go out and learn what they're supposed to do as well, but I feel like the counselors and some teachers also have a responsibility of providing us with that information, like reinforcing it. Like, if you see what they're doing now and like how they're spreading the news now, like it's everywhere, because they learned from my class and from the class before, because our school is new, we're still growing, but they learned from my class and from the class of 2018, because we all complained. We were like, we didn't know anything that was going on, like we don't know what we're supposed to do, we're confused, we're lost, who do we turn to? The counselors are busy 24/7. So, figuring out things senior year, like I was on my own. Like, I had my friends and I had my older sister, but my sister, she's in college, she's busy. My friends don't always have accurate facts, so it's hard to know like where to turn to for reliable advice and for effective advice. So I'm just glad that you were always willing to talk to me and hear me out and hear my side of the story. Not my side of the story, but like hear what I'm going through and give me advice, because all of your advice like really helped me. Like, I took everything to heart, and I like your words did resonate with me. And one thing that I did notice about you, Mr. Kibler, and what I have noticed about you, is that you actually really do care for your students' well-being, and you care about what's going on in their personal lives. Like, whenever you ask us how are we doing, it's not just to like say it to say it. It's because you actually want to know how we're doing. You care about what's going on in our lives and what you can do to make us feel better, and how you can help us in our personal troubles or academically. Like, you actually do care. Like, you care a lot about us, and a lot of teachers are just there to teach and get their paycheck, but I know that you really do care because you always engage in conversation with us actively. You're always cracking jokes. You're very relatable. You know, some teachers are not relatable because there is a generation, like, there's like a generation gap, you know how like some adults try to be cool and hip and they try to understand what the youth are doing nowadays, but they fail, you know? But you understand like what the youth are doing, like you're up to date with technology and like what's going on in our world, if that makes sense. I hope that wasn't offensive, but you are up to date with everything. So, you know, naturally we all do like you, and you're not very strict, like you don't ask for a lot, honestly. But yeah, I really like how you are very caring, and I like how you're very funny, and I appreciate your patience with me, and I can really tell that you're very knowledgeable about, you know, physics and engineering and like what you teach us. Like you're very knowledgeable about that. It's very obvious. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I will be graduating soon, in 9 days to be exact. And you know, it's hard, it's very bittersweet. You know, I'm not happy to be leaving, like I'm not like jumping for joy, like oh my gosh, I'm gonna leave soon. And I'm not like sad, like oh no, why did I pass all my classes, I wish I could fail so I won't graduate. Like I'm not sad about graduating, I'm not happy about graduating. I don't know what word I would use to describe. I know it is bittersweet, definitely, because I'm very emotional and like I will cry. Like I was crying like before we even graduated, just thinking about graduating, I was crying. So imagine how hard it's gonna be for me, like the last week of school. I'm just like, I'm not ready. Like I'm gonna have my tissue box. You're gonna see me ugly crying. I cry for the littlest things, honestly. So you're gonna see me cry, like bawling out crying. So it's gonna be very hard because, you know, teachers like you, I will never forget. And some teachers I've had, I don't remember a thing from their class, but I remember them as a teacher because they cared about me and they cared about their students. And I truly do love you, Mr. Kibler. I do. You're a very great person. And if you don't hear it enough, I appreciate you and I love you and I will miss you. Like, I'm very grateful for all you taught me. All the life lessons, your patience, your understanding, your words of advice. I'm very grateful, and when I go to college, you know, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. Those first couple of months being away from home, and having to deal with everything, but in those times of trouble and despair, I will remember your encouraging words and just your lightheartedness and the way you approach life. Because you've given our class, because our class is mainly freshmen, so you've given us a lot of speeches about life and how we should appreciate school, and I will never forget about them. I won't. Especially how you said one time you were talking to us and you were like, our generation dreads going to school, like we complain about having school, and how some kids in other countries would give anything to get an education. And I especially remember that because sometimes I am not ungrateful, but I do dread going to school, and I fail to realize that we are so blessed to have such an incredible community that's supportive and this wonderful school in such a short period of time. Like our school has done so much, and you know, I am blessed to be able to afford an education. So I will remember to value my education more in college because of what you said. and I'll try not to dread going to class. I can't promise anything, it depends how I feel, but in the back of my mind I will try and remember that it is a privilege to be educated. And I'll also remember what you said about school spirit. You know, I don't really want to go to Texas State. I wanted to go to UT Austin, but didn't get accepted. It is what it is. So I'll just try to not complain about the school and try and have some school spirit. So all in all, Mr. Kibler, I do love you a lot, and I will miss you immensely, and I hope that you can continue to be a great role model to future students, and I hope that you can continue to touch their lives the way that you have touched my life. So, you know, it's gonna be hard saying goodbye, but if I ever do come back here, I will definitely visit you first. And I'll, you know, tell all your students about how wonderful you are, because, you know, I love to talk. Okay. Goodbye, Mr. Kibler. I love you very, very much, and I will miss you very much. I pray that God continues to be with you and to be with your family, and I hope that He blesses you and shows mercy upon you for all that you've done for me and for your students. So thank you, Mr. Kibler. I love you. Bye.